Hello everybody, my name is Chad Barker. I'm going to show you today how to lay out a standard vanity cabinet. Pretty easy. This is not a master vanity by any means, but just a real simple vanity cabinet that you can put into a powder bath or a guest bathroom or something like that. It's pretty simple, and really with cabinets, usually simple is a lot prettier, so let's just stick with something that's easy. And you can kind of trick this thing out at the end with mirror frames, crown molding, toe skins, and all this other stuff. But this will just get you the basics on how to lay out your vanity cabinet. So just did a rendering here for you. What we have is a sink cabinet in the middle, 3 drawer stacks on left and right sides. And then we got the fillers going into the walls. Now the fillers can be minimized because our cabinets are, you can customize our cabinets to 1/4 inch width increments. So we can really make these things minimized. Now you do need a filler. Now that does pull that cabinet off the wall, and it does help functionality on that cabinet. We'll get into that here in a minute. So mirror frames up top. I put some crown molding around the top. This is our nice mirror frame we have available in our wall cabinet section of our website. Pretty easy. So let's get started. Let's go into a top view. Here's a top view of our standard cabinet. Okay, standard vanity cabinet layout. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to delete these, and we're going to get started from scratch, so you can kind of draw it out at home with a piece of graph paper or really whatever you want. You can just draw it on a napkin if you really want to. So let's start off with just a regular wall. I'm going to make this wall an odd dimension, so let's just make it 75 and 5/8 or something like that. That sounds good to me. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to show you that it doesn't really matter. Your walls don't have to be a standard depth or length in any manner. So side walls here, I make them 27 inches. Normally your contractor will make these things at least 25, 24. And I'm just running a cabinet vanity from wall to wall. So in 3D, real simple. It's just wall to wall. Pretty simple, easy stuff. So okay, so let's get started. We're going to be pulling out a base 2-door cabinet, and it's going to be, you can do either one here. Now we do have a false front sink cabinet, which is basically where it's just a false front here. Now with standard vanities, more typical, and I know I showed you the one with the false front in the beginning, but more typical is going to be one without the false front. A lot of people want to maximize the height of the doors, so let's change it up. Let's just do one like this, where you have a sink cabinet. It's open at the back, as you see right here. I'll fill that in for you. It's open for plumbing, and that's the next thing we're going to get into. Alright, so typical widths of sink cabinets that go in vanity and standard vanities. We have 24, 26, and even if you really get into a tight spot, you could do a 22. I'd recommend sticking with 24 to 26. That'll make sure that your sinks actually do fit into inside of the cabinet. Okay, so for this one, since we have the room, I'm going to go 24. That's our standard vanity width, or I'm sorry, standard sink cabinet width that I would recommend. Height, I'm going to say it's going to be 32. Depth is going to be 22, and that's from the front of the cabinet to the back. Okay, so depth, standard cabinet depth for vanity cabinets, 22 inches deep. Cabinet height for vanity cabinets, 32 inches tall, and that's from the top of the cabinet to the ground. Pretty simple. Okay, so let's center this thing on the wall first of all. I'm not real good with math, but let's see here. Yeah, nailed it. Okay, so 25 and 13/16, left to right. Basically, I want to equalize this thing out. Now, your plumbing, you're going to really take a look at your plumbing. Let's just say we have plumbing coming in here, and let's say the plumber wasn't real good at his math, and he put it somewhere here. It's all off center. Okay, these two lines represent plumbing. Okay, now what you want to do is basically take a dimension from one side of the wall to the center line, or to the beginning of the plumbing, and then one line to the end of the plumbing. So in this case, I came up with 29 and 3/8 is where it starts, the plumbing starts, and then 37 and 1/4 is when it ends. Okay, so we want to make sure that inside of our cabinet that our plumbing actually fits into this, into the back here. Now if it doesn't fit in, you're going to have a bit of an issue. And the reason for that is you don't want to have to like eat away at this wall of the cabinet. I mean, that's going to be, that's a pain. This is American hard, plywood. I mean, this stuff's pretty substantial. It's not going to break on you, so it's going to fight you. So just make sure your plumbing's inside of the cabinet. That's pretty much all you really need to worry about. Okay, let's take a look. Go back to top view. So right here, we know it's going to be inside of the cabinet. We're good to go. Now let's say the plumbing was way over here. Let's just say you could widen this cabinet up, still keep it on center, and you'd be okay. But you're going to lose a little bit of drawer space. So I'm going to throw a 3-drawer stack. I'm going to throw that to the left of my cabinet here. I'm going to make the width, we're going to get into here in a minute. Let's just make sure it's off the wall. The depth, I need to change that to 22 inches, and the height is going to be 32 inches, as we talked about already. Taking a look at the interior of this cabinet, and basically you see here, you got 3 drawer stack, all maximized out. We're at full overlay cabinets, pretty easy. So you can kind of see a line drawing of our cabinets there. Okay, so let's get into it. Basically what we're going to look at here for the width, we know that the height and the depth are going to be pretty much the same as our sink cabinet to the left, or to the right of the cabinet. So I'm going to take this, and I want to get this filler width really dialed in. Okay, now we know that we're at quarter-inch increments for all of our cabinets. Okay, so right now this is 21 inches wide. Okay, so I want to get the smallest filler that we offer is 2 inches wide, and there's a good reason for that. Is the fact that you have to have a little bit of room to attach it to the cabinet or wall or whatever you're doing there. So in this case, let's pull it over. Let's get to about 1/13/16. So we're going to need to decrease that by, let's decrease that by 0.5. All right, so we're at 2 5/16. Okay, that's pretty much the best we're going to be able to accomplish. So we want to make sure we have at least 2-inch wide filler going into the wall in this case. So I'm going to pull out a filler right now, and we're going to throw it on the wall and see what happens. All right, so we got a 2-inch wide filler right here. You can see 2 inches, and we got a 5/16 space to the left of it. Okay, I'm going to take that filler and I'm going to add another 1/16 of an inch onto it. Okay, now our filler should be customizable down to a 1/16 increment. So you need at least 2 inches. Obviously, you want to have a little bit of space, and I'll get into the reason why we're going to leave this 1/4 inch here in just a second. But the idea here is that you're going to have a 2-inch wide filler going right into the wall. And let's zoom in here. So you can see I left a space, a 1/4 of an inch space between the edge of the filler and the edge of the wall. And everybody asks, why do you want to leave that space? Well, if you ever tried to install cabinets that are perfectly, dimensioned out, the widths of our cabinets are dead on. Okay, but the people that built your house, the people that built your walls, they were not as exact. If you've ever built cabinets or tried to put anything into your house, you'll notice the walls are almost always out of square. So we leave a 1/4 of an inch there because cabinet installation is a lot easier if you have a little bit of room to work with. And I'll show you how we cover that up here in a second. So basically what we're going to do here is we're going to copy this. Just go over here, take another one, take this filler, and we're going to copy that. Okay. I'm having a little bit of problems getting this thing on the wall. It's trying to snap to the other side. So let's just take it over and put it on here. Alright, so I still have my 1/4 inch space there. I put my drawer stack back. So I know that these cabinets right here, the drawer stacks, are actually going to be identical in width. Now, the filler is the same thing. I got a 2 1/16 there, 2 1/16 over here. I'm going to have a 1/4 of an inch gap between the two. I'm going to pull this over for aesthetic reasons. Don't need to worry about that. We take care of all that for you. Alright, so basically what I have here is I have a 1/4 inch space on this side from the filler to the wall, 1/4 inch space over here. Now installation, let's say we put all these cabinets on the wall, and then we put the filler, we attach the filler to the cabinet before we install it. Now that extra 1/4 of an inch can be covered by screen molding. Okay. Now let's take a look at some screen molding. So screen molding will work. So basically screen molding can be found right here. It's under scribe molding. Sorry. Alright, so scribe molding, basically it's $5 a stick. It's pretty cheap, but the nice thing about it is you can actually basically scribe your cabinets into the wall without having to actually sand a filler or an angled filler or something like that. It's a lot easier and it looks a lot more professional. So I'd recommend using a scribe molding. Okay, and that can be found on our website under millwork. Just scroll down a little bit, just look something like this. It's a real small piece. It's cheap. It's easy to use, and it really does look nice. So, all right, so let's go back to our thing. So basically, we're going to use scribe moldings at the walls here. Let's take a 3D look. So we're pretty dialed in already. Basically, you're going to see 3-drawer stack. Everything's balanced. Everything equals out. All this other stuff. Disregard the fact that those are white, please. So, all right. So that's pretty much easy there. Let's take a mirror frame. Okay, I'm going to pull out a mirror frame here, and what we're going to do with a mirror frame is toss it on the wall. Now this is kind of a little, overtime deal. So mirror frames are cool because it really does add a lot to the kitchen. Basically, you could add crown molding to the top of the mirror frame. You can basically do whatever you really want to do. And I'm not going to get too much into trimming out of the mirror frame, but you can kind of, make your own assumptions. So, all right, so let's see here. 1/4 inch on each side. We're going to use screen molding again on the side where the mirror frame hits the wall. I still leave 1/4 inch because, again, if that wall is at a square and you try to push that mirror frame up there after it's all assembled, you're going to be eating into the wall or scratching it all up. So you want to make sure you have that extra 1/4 inch on each side. Okay, and then you just use your screen molding that we saw earlier. It's a cheap way of putting it in there, and it looks really nice. It's actually kind of like adding more molding to your cabinets, and it all just dials it in. So here's what we have. We have a mirror frame up top. We can put crown molding around that. Crown molding can be found in the millwork section as well. Crown molding is right there. A few different types you can choose from. And as far as the height of the actual mirror frame, you can go all the way up to the ceiling. Here I have a 96-inch tall wall. Now the ceiling's 96 inches tall. So technically you could take this thing all the way up to the ceiling. I think it looks more proportional if you leave about a 12-inch air soffit above the mirror frame. And you could always do whatever you want here. I mean, there's no set standards on really what you have to do or what you can't do. But again, probably would recommend sticking with some sort of a soffit. You're going to have less problems with installation. So anyway, so let's just render this real quick, kind of get a general idea of what's going on. You got your mirror frame up there. Obviously, I didn't draw a mirror in for you. You can also put crown molding around the top here. Screen molding is not shown here, but it's pretty easy. You can put that in on site yourself. Sink in the middle. So basically, make sure you review your sink specs. Okay, because the sink specs could be, if you have a real big vanity sink going in there, you might have an issue. So this one's just real simple, like overmount or even undermount sink. 3-drawer base cabinets right here. You can do those, and they're fillers. They're dropping down to the floor. Kind of creates a nice post look. So screen molding again, going down the sides here, and basically that's kind of what we have for our standard vanity cabinet layout. I'll post some pictures of this as well on our forums, and you guys can take a look. And if you have any questions, feel free to give us an email. My name is Chad Barker, and we're here at Barker Door and BarkerCabinets.com. Thanks again, and have a great day.